Welcome to KXAN News Today. Downtown Buda is kicking off its holiday season with Buda Fest. It's a 3-day celebration starting today. It's free and it is for the whole family. There will be food vendors out there, some live performances, and pictures with Santa in addition to more. The Notre Dame in Paris reopening this weekend. It's after being closed since a fire broke out there in 2019. Crews spent the last few years putting millions of dollars worth of repairs into that building. The landmark is 861 years old. And the Texas Maternal Mortality and Morbidity Review Committee is meeting today. It's going to discuss pregnancy-related deaths and health conditions. That committee will make recommendations to help stop them. Thanks for joining us this morning. I'm Tom Miller. Austin's police chief told KXAN the department will continue responding to mental health calls despite a strong statement from the police union saying officers should not. As KXAN's Brianna Hollis explains, the Austin Police Association made this comment following a prison sentence for former officer Christopher Taylor.
Taylor was the first officer convicted in Travis County in connection to use of force. His case drew political heat on both sides, with prosecutors questioning APD training throughout the trial and the APA's bold statement on police responses. Taylor's conviction stems from a deadly 2019 police shooting where a man having a mental health episode was walking around his condo complex with a large knife.
It is no longer appropriate, safe for officers to be the ones that are responding to mental health calls. We can only deal with what is placed in front of us. And so when an officer is put in these situations, they have a duty to act.
We dug through APD's general orders to get a better idea of mental health responses. Here's what we learned. A mental health officer will respond if a call meets certain criteria or if a community member requests a mental health officer. However, if a mental health officer isn't available, a patrol officer will respond first and a mental health officer will get there as soon as possible.
As a mental health officer, I went through roughly about, I want to say it was around like 120 hours worth of training, right? Which for us is a lot, but you're talking about 3 weeks of training, right? Compared to medical professionals. And this is why we've never claimed to be the mental health experts.
Bullock says he's been trying to get a bill through the legislature to give groups like paramedics and mental health staff with integral care more power in responding to mental health calls, noting that if a weapon is involved, those agencies ask police to respond. In court, as APD staff, including former chiefs, said former Officer Taylor acted in accordance with his training, prosecutors questioned that training given the jury's guilty verdict.
It occurred to me as I watched Mr. Mills, Mr. Manning testify. Perhaps that's part of the reason why we're here. Perhaps the way that they do this is part of the problem.
The DA's office, in a statement, called the APA's comments, quote, unfortunate. And DA Jose Garza says he meets monthly with the police chief to discuss a range of issues, including use of force. Garza's office says it does not have the authority to direct APD policy. In Austin, Brianna Hollis, KXAN News.
Thank you, Brianna. Austin's police chief Lisa Davis says she understands the association's concerns following Taylor's sentence, adding that APD must prevent harm to all Austin community members, including our responding officers. Moving forward, we will be working hard to develop a holistic response to persons experiencing a mental health crisis.
First warning weather with meteorologist Kristen Curry.
Good morning. Let's start with a live look outside. Our Whittlesey Landscape Supplies weather camera there in Round Rock, showing a little bit of a breeze still. You could see that palm frond moving around, but otherwise we are dry for the moment underneath a cloudy sky. Temperatures, though, much cooler than what we had yesterday at this time, down about 5 to 15 degrees. Let's look at those numbers because we're currently sitting at 41 in Burnett, Cherokee at 41, 43 Llano, 40s across Burnett County and really kind of spilling down into Blanco County, if you will. Austin Metro also in the 40s, maybe just a little bit further above that 40-degree mark as we currently sit at 46 in Austin. Same thing in Buda. San Marcos coming in at 47 and our eastern communities in those 40s, if not even some 50s. Obviously, that is a equipment malfunction that we've got in Round Top. I can promise you it is not 16 degrees where you are. You are in those 40s and 50s. Coming up, there is more rain to come, so don't put away that umbrella. We are turning even colder too, and there's a strong cold front next week. We'll talk more about it in your first warning forecast.
Thank you, Kristen. It's now been a year since a Central Texas shooting spree left 6 people dead and 3 others hurt. The string of violence started in San Antonio before the suspect made his way to Austin. That suspect, Shane James, was deemed mentally incompetent to stand trial last month. He faces multiple charges of capital murder. James is now at a facility for mental health treatment. Judge ordered James to be evaluated in about 4 months. At that time, he'll determine whether James should continue treatment. Down to Luling, southeast of Austin, officials breaking ground on a 45,000 square foot evacuation center. Once completed, this refuge will offer 360 beds to folks if they need to flee a disaster. The $22 million center is going to be a crucial space for the county. It's had several federally declared disasters there over the last decade.
We do not have an evacuation center anywhere near here. It really became apparent that we needed one during Harvey because there were so many people coming this way seeking shelter, and there just wasn't anywhere to put them all.
The center will be finished in 2026 and will be used for more than just emergencies. That building will also function as a community center. Caldwell County will host large events.
Although it's been a while since we've had to deal with the flood risk. When it comes to rainfall here in Austin, sometimes we can have too much of a good thing. More than 7,000 buildings and 400 roads are prone to flooding. That's according to the city's Watershed Protection Department. That's why the city created the Flood Early Warning System. It's a project years in the making and going in depth since the deadly Memorial Day flood in 1981. Austin has made changes to how it prepares for floods, including the creation of the Flood Early Warning System. That's a team of experts who can alert the public and emergency responders about potential flooding. They use things like rain and stream gauges, cameras at low water crossings, and flashing beacons.
We are trying to do everything we can, but the community has a role to play. So we would really love for them to be part of it. Go to atxfloodsafety.com. There are many useful links there to be prepared.
We've got links and tips for preparing yourself over at KXAN.com.
Good morning. This is a live look over downtown Austin here on this Friday. Happy to have you with us on a chilly end to your week. Kristen's going to have your forecast in just a bit. First, though, we want to go to New York, where police are releasing some new photos of the gunman they believe shot and killed Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare. So here are the photos. Investigators believe that the shooter slept in a bunk bed at a hostel before that attack Wednesday morning. NBC News reporting that the man may have taken a bus to New York from Atlanta last month. There's a $10,000 reward now for information leading to the killer's capture. Good morning. A live look outside here on this Friday morning. It is the 6th of December. Live look along I-35 up in Round Rock. You can see the wind blowing a little bit there. Happy to have you with us. To your news, and Dollar Tree is preparing to make certain changes to its prices ahead of President-elect Donald Trump's expected tariff plan. Right now, the base price of a lot of products there at Dollar Tree is $1.25. Dollar Tree says prices might increase, though. Company may even take some products off the shelves if it becomes too expensive to import them. Dollar Tree also stated that it's going to shift where it gets items from if the tariffs take effect. Taylor Swift's Eras Tour now coming to a close in Vancouver, Canada this weekend. Show has spent nearly 2 years on the road, and it is the highest grossing concert tour in history. The Federal Reserve has even credited this tour with boosting the U.S. economy. Of course, you might remember Taylor Swift's tour highlighted issues for the ticket provider Ticketmaster. Severe price gouging has caused an uproar on social media and in government halls worldwide. It's caused the government to investigate ticket reselling. The Internal Revenue Service has a new tax regulation, meaning anyone who receives more than $600 from places like Ticketmaster or StubHub will have to report those earnings to the IRS. In the past, sellers only had to report earnings if they made more than $20,000 and at least 200 transactions a year. This change is an effort to crack down on scalpers reselling for extremely high prices. Kristen, you know that Erica and I and sort of a group of friends and family went to New Orleans, and our tickets, we got them at face value, but we could have sold them for 10 times or more what we paid.
And people do.
And people do.
People certainly do.
Exactly. So, I mean, I think it's good that, because that doesn't feel right.
Yeah. And it's going to be tough to enforce, I think, and find all those people who are doing the wrong thing, but at least they're trying.
Right.
Because you know it's not just Taylor Swift tickets either.
Oh,
There's
for
quite
sure.
a few of other ones, and unfortunately, especially sports games.
Yeah,
too.
how about the SEC championship game this weekend? I'm sure those aren't cheap tickets.
That is not going to be something you just go to without planning, right? Let me show you what's going on with your forecast, because we will talk later about the forecast in Atlanta. I'll give you a little spoiler. It is going to be cold, so if you're going out there to the east, just make sure to grab that jacket. But if you're staying here too, maybe watching it at home, it's going to get quite chilly here locally as well. Right now, we're tracking a little bit of some light pockets of rain here and there, mainly towards the north and west. Nothing that necessarily looks like a game changer yet. I'm actually expecting better rain chances later this evening. So anything we get this morning is going to be a bonus. There's certainly a lot of cloud cover out there. You'll notice our Lady Bird Johnson Wildflower Center showing quite a bit of that cloud cover over Austin. Temperature wise, we're seeing 40 in Burnett, 42 Georgetown, 46 in Austin. We've got those 40s across our eastern counties. Hey, how about the day planner? From those 40s this morning, lower 50s by noon, your forecast high 54. That's it. We're not going to warm much at all today, but the rain chances are going to steadily grow to about 40 to 50% heading into this evening. So with mainly cloudy to overcast skies, we're going to be looking at temperatures in those 50s this afternoon. That is far below normal for us by more than 10 degrees. As far as our skies go, when can we expect rain? Well, putting this into motion, mainly cloudy to overcast through lunchtime with a couple spots of light rain here and there. Getting into the afternoon, evening, now we're starting to see a little bit more to work with here. So I'm going to go scattered showers for this evening into tonight, which definitely could impact any high school football games that we've got going on still with the playoffs. And then tomorrow morning, still dodging showers. Those continue at times for Saturday afternoon and evening. I'm thinking tomorrow, although not a complete washout, definitely favoring light rain from morning through night. Then we continue Sunday morning with scattered showers and maybe even one or two isolated storms all in this mix here. But most of this is just going to be general rain activity. Then you're noticing the clearing by Sunday afternoon. That will kind of be the end here of what we've got with this extended rainy pattern that started earlier this week. Already picked up about 1/4 inch of rain in Austin. So today, tomorrow, and Sunday morning is when we expect the rain to continue at times before we hit a dry stretch here. Thing is, we are going to get a dry cold front in on Thursday of next week, and just going to reinforce this cooler air. How much rain? Maybe an additional 1/4 inch to an inch here. So I'm not worried about flooding or severe weather by any stretch. It's just going to continue this damp and chilly weather pattern that we've been in. And hopefully we can get a little bit more than advertised. As unfortunately, the drought is not going to change much with just how light this rain intensity has been recently. So the 7-day forecast shows 50s today and tomorrow. We briefly spike on Monday to 80 ahead of our next cold front. That cold front knocks us back down to the 60s where we should be next week. But we've got a good amount of sunshine, and just a heads up, some hill country freezes expected again as we get into next week. Tom?
All right, weather whiplash. Thank you, Kristen. A 17-year-old in Cedar Park is charged with cruelty to a livestock animal. Police say she admitted to killing a fellow FFA student's goat. They say it happened at Vista Ridge High School in October. We're choosing not to name this girl charged because she's a minor, but she does face charges as an adult. According to arrest records, security cameras caught the teen forcing a syringe down the goat's throat. She went back there 2 more times to check in on it and take photos and videos before calling the family that owned it. The goat died at a veterinary hospital, and police say testing showed it had pesticides in its stomach. Arrest records show that she told officers she poisoned the goat because the other student involved was, quote, a cheater, and I don't like cheaters. We reach out to her attorney, who said that the family is working hard to address and resolve some personal struggles. We also reached out to Leander ISD, the district, saying it's sad to hear about the loss of the animal and that the student was disciplined. It also explained how students have access to this facility. Students must sign a facilities use agreement. It allows for badge access in order to check on animals outside of normal hours of operations. And the district said security measures are in place, including surveillance footage and routine supervision by agriculture science teachers. Spokesperson for LISD told us that those security cameras mentioned in the court documents were used extensively in the police investigation. All right, well, Honda is recalling more than 200,000 SUVs. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says a tube and pipe could separate, and that could cause a fuel leak. Honda is recalling some Passport and Pilot vehicles, model years 2023 to the new ones, 2025. The agency says if your SUV is recalled, dealers will inspect and repair the problem for free.
This is KXAN Sports, brought to you by Thomas J. Henry.
Longhorns on their way to Atlanta today, and then on Saturday, a chance to win an SEC title. That would be back-to-back conference championships. That hasn't happened since the mid-90s. Also, Texas would have a chance to have beaten every team on their schedule, since their only loss, of course, was to Georgia. Now you've got the 12-team playoff. That will be announced on Sunday. Winner gets the bye in the playoff. Loser, especially Texas, certainly will be in the playoff, but there are a lot of different factors now in college football to keep track of this time of year.
There's layers to the season of college football. I understand that, and whether this can contribute to some of the seeding, but I surely hope, especially in the Southeastern Conference's case, nobody ever gets punished for playing in this game, because it's a little bit of the war of attrition in our conference. The reward to play in a championship game like this is one that we cherish. But on the same token, I surely hope this year and in the years to come that nobody ever gets punished because they don't come out on top in this game, because it is a real grind. If anything, we get recognized for making it to this game, not getting punished if somebody, for the team that doesn't come out on top.
Honored to be playing Coach Sark and his team at Texas. What a tremendous job he's done there. Getting them into this game is a gauntlet, and it's a reward to play in it, and both teams have earned that.
We'll be in Atlanta and have reports throughout the day. Meantime, don't forget, tomorrow it is Texas Game Day. Saturday is 1 hour before kickoff in Atlanta, and it's over on KBVO. UT women on the road last night, SEC ACC Challenge. Longhorns number 4 taking on Notre Dame number 10, and Rory Harmon, the tough jumper, with 7.7 to tie the ball game. But then here comes Notre Dame, and Olivia Miles with the tough shot to give the Irish the lead. But Harmon, she's crafty, and she draws the foul with a second to go. Now you got to step up and knock them down, and she did just that, so it goes to overtime. In the overtime, Longhorns grabbed the lead on Kyla Oldacre's bucket. She had to play a lot of minutes. Taylor Jones was injured in the ball game, and then after Texas took a 2-point lead, Notre Dame goes on a 12-0 run led by Hannah Hidalgo. She had 30, and then Sonia Citron with the bucket right here. Texas falls for the first time this season. They're at James Madison on Sunday. And last night at Greg Gym, Texas volleyball, the 2-time reigning national champs, opening up tournament play against the Islanders from A&M Corpus Christi. Mariana Singletary with the block right there as Texas takes the first set. Second set much closer. Set point at 24-23, and Madison Skinner drops the hammer right there. Longhorns up 2-0, and from there they go on to win that match in 3 games. So Texas advances tonight against USC for a trip to the Sweet 16 on the line. And don't forget, high school football state quarterfinal action tonight. Lake Travis and Westlake out at Kelly Reeves, and you can watch it live 7 o'clock on KBVO. Back to you.
Coming up, what school leaders want most from state lawmakers next year. If you're listening on the KXAN Today podcast, thanks for joining us. Hope you'll join us on air for that. You can find our stories on our website too, KXAN.com.